Have you ever pondered how wars shape the course of history? Our journey begins in the 5th century BC with the Peloponnesian War. This was a seismic conflict between the mighty city-states of Athens and Sparta, a struggle of power that left the Greek world in tatters. Athens, the flourishing hub of art, philosophy, and democracy, clashed with Sparta, the militaristic and disciplined powerhouse, leading to a dramatic shift in power and a period of uncertainty and upheaval. The war was not just a military event, but a crucible for political and philosophical thought. The writings of Thucydides, an Athenian historian and general, provide an invaluable insight into this tumultuous period. His work, History of the Peloponnesian War, is a treasure trove of historical narrative, political analysis, and philosophical musing. Thus, the Peloponnesian War brought an end to the golden age of ancient Greece, setting the stage for the rise of a new power. Moving forward in time, we arrive in the 3rd century BC, where the Punic Wars signal the rise of Rome. A trilogy of conflicts, the Punic Wars were fought between the nascent powers of Rome and Carthage, setting the stage for a dramatic shift in the balance of world power. The first of these wars saw Rome establish itself as a formidable naval power, while the second is famed for Hannibal's daring crossing of the Alps, a military maneuver still revered today. Despite his victories, Hannibal was ultimately defeated, leading to the third and final war. This last conflict culminated in the total destruction of Carthage, a brutal end that cemented Rome's ascension. The Punic Wars were more than a series of conflicts. They were a crucible in which the Roman Empire was forged. With the end of the Punic Wars, Rome emerged as the dominant power in the Mediterranean, forever altering the trajectory of the world. Fast forward to the 14th century, and we find ourselves in the midst of the 100 Years' War, a conflict that revolutionized warfare. This long-standing feud between England and France was not just a series of battles, but a transformational period in military strategy. The English longbow, a weapon of remarkable range and power, made its deadly debut, forever altering the dynamics of the battlefield. But it wasn't just the weapons that changed. The 100 Years' War also sparked a new sense of nationalism, as people began identifying more with their country than with their local lord. This shift in mindset was significantly influenced by figures like Joan of Arc, a humble peasant girl who would become a symbol of French resistance and national pride. The war's end saw major shifts in the political landscape of Europe, with power dynamics forever altered. The 100 Years' War not only changed warfare, but also laid the groundwork for the modern nation-state. We now move to the 20th century, to a war that was supposed to end all wars, World War I. This global conflict saw the world locked in the grip of trench warfare, a grueling and brutal form of battle that claimed countless lives. Soldiers huddled in muddy, rat-infested trenches, facing off against a foe just yards away. This war also marked the dawn of new technology on the battlefield. Tanks rumbled across no man's land, airplanes engaged in dogfights in the sky, and submarines prowled the depths of the sea. But perhaps the most profound impact of the Great War was the staggering casualty rate. Millions of soldiers and civilians alike perished. Whole generations were lost. Empires crumbled, and the political map of Europe was redrawn. World War I was not the war to end all wars, as it was so naively hoped. Instead, it was a cataclysm that reshaped the world, set the stage for an even greater conflict. Finally, we arrive at the most devastating conflict in human history, World War II. A war of unprecedented scale, it saw the total mobilization of nations and the darkest depths of human cruelty. The Holocaust, an event of unimaginable horror, resulted in the systematic murder of 6 million Jews. It serves as a chilling testament to the dangers of hatred and bigotry. In the Pacific, the use of atomic weapons on Hiroshima and Nagasaki demonstrated the terrifying power of nuclear warfare, a power that continues to cast a shadow over global politics today. This global conflict ended with the establishment of the United Nations, an international body aimed at preventing such a catastrophe from happening again. Yet, the end of World War II also marked the beginning of the Cold War, a tense standoff between superpowers that would shape the latter half of the 20th century. World War II, a war that forever changed the face of our planet, reminds us of the devastating cost of conflict. As we look back at these wars, we realize that while they have shaped our past, it is our quest for peace that will define our future.